everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I hope everyone is doing okay. Today is doing wonderful. It's a Monday. So I know that sometimes Mondays are not the funnest day of the week. But just, I've not been doing any lives lately or not been doing any videos. Um, just because for the fact that I always like to make sure that every single video that I get to do, every single live that I get to do, everything and anything that I get to do, it has intention and it's not just about the clicks and things like that. You know what I mean? It just trying to be as, I guess, just pretty much as real as I can. Um, so if y'all have not seen any videos, do not be alarmed. I've not been posting anything. Y'all not seeing my lives either. I've not been posting anything. I've been very, concentrating on my next life, on when I should come in and, and talk about something that it's super duper important. And that time truly, truly came today. I'm noticing that a lot of people out there are getting closer to God. But a lot of people think that by getting closer to God, their lives gets to be fixed and their problems they get to go away and they're never going to have an issue again. And the truth is that that's not the case. That's why I titled this life as Does Jesus Really Care? Um, and I know that a lot of us go through that because we're looking for him, we're seeking him, we're trying to do our walk with him, we're trying to follow him. We're doing all these things that we're thinking it's the right way. Um, sorry, I think we're trying to do all these things that we're thinking it's the right way. But yet we're not finding our answers or we're not finding what we're looking for and we're feeling lost and we're just wondering more and more and more, well, God, if I'm starting the walk with you, why is that you're not fixing my problems? Why is that you're not giving me what I want? Why is it that you're not doing what I'm asking you? Or I'm praying and I'm asking you and we starting to feel that God is not listening, or we start feeling that God truly, truly doesn't care. And I want you to know that we're all in that position. A lot of videos will show out there that in reality their life has gotten better the moment that that they accepted God into their life, making it seem that it's so glamorous and that there's going to be no challenges in life or no difficulties, and in reality that's not the truth. That is a fake, I like to say, a fake faith. It's just truthful that God is going to give us, we're going to have hard moments. It's just part of life. That's how it happens. So if you ever wonder if God really cares, he truly, truly does. And I know that it's hard for in whatever season of your life you're going through, but he truly, truly does. I know it's, we live in that moment, and I feel there's something going on shifting in the world where people are seeking more Jesus. But there's a lot of us, and I say a lot of us because I'm in that position where you just sit there and wonder, does God really care? Is God really listening? Is God really, is he listening to my prayers? Am I doing this right? And a lot of us think that because our life is not changing, or a lot of us think that because our life is still struggling, that we're not praying right, that we're not doing this right. And we start looking for methods, right? And then we start searching for YouTube and what are the steps to pray? What do I need to do? Step one, step two, do I need to write this? And then true in reality is that a prayer, the way you talk to him is not, there's no steps. This is not like going to church to a Catholic mass. You start with the prayer and you start with everything else. And no, just a conversation, a relationship with God is simple as you just talking to him through the day. While you're, getting dressed, while you're making your bed, while you're going to work, while you're in the car, whatever moment you get to truly, truly talk to him, that's a conversation, that's a prayer. Um, so if you're in that feeling like you feel that God is not listening, do you really think that God you feel that God really truly doesn't care. I think that it's hard for you to see it, but know that he really truly truly cares. We all tend to have those hard moments in life. We all have issues and difficulties and health problems, and we're praying, and we are not finding anything. God truly truly cares about you. He's truly listening. um so anyone out there that has an experience of any kind, if you want to share something with me on why do you feel that God doesn't care, just share it. Put it in the comment. Let's talk about it. Tell me, what are you going through? Why is that you feel that God does not care? Why do you feel that God doesn't listen? I know we live in a moment where we have lives and people, it's their best way to communicate. And I want you to communicate that with me. If you have something to share about God, share it with me. Let this page be open for you to share any feelings, any emotions, to vent, because I think that is important. Sometimes what you're going through, if you share it with somebody else, can help you to see a different perspective, because we're so stuck in the negative side that we're not seeing the brighter side. So if you want to share something and you feel that God does care, if you have a story that you can share with us, maybe one of us can get to see the story on what changed in your life that can help us to see that God cares. Or if you yourself, you're struggling and you feel that God doesn't care, please share it as well. I am here to talk to you. I am here to share with you, um, to just try to help you change your mind, because I know it's a struggle. It's a daily struggle. I go through it. Today was really a tough day for me. And I went through those moments and I said, no, God, I need you to help me get out about my feelings and help out anybody that I can help out. And this is why I'm here. I might not have, 500,000 followers. I might not have that. You might see I don't have a lot of followers. Why listen to me? Well, I think because people that are truly more authentic, are going to be more open minded in sharing their struggles with you. And I'm at that point, right? We're all in that point. We all hit bottom. And that is where God is closer to us, because that is when we are seeking Him a lot more. I mean, think about a time where you were, at a greatest of your life, that you were having the best time of your life. How often did you look for God in those moments? I can assure you, you forgot about Him. I can assure you that maybe you just once a day or once a week, you probably turned around and said, God, thank you. And then you went on about your day. But when you're struggling the most, when you're hurting the most, when you are at your worst, you tend to look for Him a lot more. I know that's what I'm doing now. That's what I've been doing now. Uh, Revenge. Hello, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Please do not forget to let me know where y'all tuning in from. I love to hear what y'all tuning in from. But yeah, so if you have a struggle, if you feel Jesus doesn't care, share it here with me. Tell me, why do you feel He doesn't care? Or if you feel that maybe something that happened to you and you have come to the realization that God is real and He has helped you out, share it here as well to help out others. I think that's important. Sharing our stories can really truly help somebody else. Don't just stay with something. Share it as much as you can. So, I'm really grateful every day that although days can be some days can be extremely hard, where it's hard to seek God. I know He's there, because there are moments of things that would happen, then I'm just like, okay, you have to be real. You might not believe it 100% yet, and He knows that. He sees that when you know that He's real, but you just don't feel Him as much. Um, when you don't feel Him as much, He knows that you're trying the best that you can. He knows that you're trying to find Him. He knows that you're trying to seek Him. And truly, that is what you need. You got to keep going. You got to keep trying. You got to keep having a relationship with Him. You got to keep praying. You cannot give up. Do not give up. Trust me, do not give up. As a matter of fact, today I was, not today, but About a week ago, I went to a church service. I'm Catholic, and that day, I was just so emotional, and the priest ended up having um, a service. No, actually, I think it was this past Wednesday. Sorry, where he talked about do not believe your emotions. If you believe that you're alone, believe it, not believe it, feel it, acknowledge that feeling that you feel alone, but do not believe it because God is with you. And he's letting us know as a human being, the priest said, as a human being, acknowledge that you feel alone because it is a human feeling to feel alone. It's not, it doesn't make you no less. It doesn't mean that, that you've forgotten about God or God doesn't love you. It just means that as a human being, you're going to feel that loneliness, and it's okay. But you just have to immediately know that God is with you, that God is watching over you. You have to truly believe it in your heart. Or let's say that even if you don't yet believe it, just keep just talking to him. Just keep talking to him. If you feel you're talking to nothing, just keep talking to him. I know there's going to be a point in your life where you will feel him. I'm very hopeful of that. There's days can be more consistent than others, and then there's days that just something doesn't make sense. And I like to believe that God is still there, and that God is still it's still listening, whether you want to call him whining or complaining, but he's listening. So if you want to share anything, please feel free to do so. Let me know, any life experience that you had where God showed up to you. I think it's like I said, it's important that we share things like that because it helps other people to go back and listen or read the comments about someone experience. So please share. Do not get out of this chat without sharing. I think it's extremely important. Um, and then I don't know, it just baffles me sometimes when I go through some of these videos and some of these live, and I wish I can see a lot of more people talking about God, but I tend to find more of people just saying nothing, or writing things in their faces, and I guess that's the way they want to do it by all means, but we should be able to spread the word of God a lot more. So if you're here and you're watching, please, one, do not forget to hit the like notification, and also tell me a life experience. Tell me something that you went through life where you feel that God showed up for you. Or if you feel that He's not showing up for you right now, share it as well. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. I don't want you to feel alone. We live in a screen life, a lot of TVs and laptop, and we're not communicating to one another, and it's important that we do, even if it's just talking through a life. So please share with me anything you want to share. Tell me how you feel about God. um, I am here to completely listen to you. Okay, but I can also in the meantime try to find maybe a verse about loneliness with Jesus. So let's see. Okay, let's see. Let's try to get a verse and maybe it can help you out. Um, so in Matthew 28:20 says, I am, and surely I am with you always to the very end of age. You're never alone. You're never, ever alone. Um, Not on good days, not on bad days. You're never, ever, ever alone. He's never going to be exhausted. It's never going to be messy enough for him not to be with you. Luke 24:15 says, as they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them. This is one powerful because they didn't even realize it was him at first when the disciples were walking. Sometimes Jesus walking with you before you recognize them in any situation. Psalm 23:4 says, even though I walk through the valley of shadows of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. He's notice right here that he says, you know, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will feel fear no evil. No, it means pretty much no matter what you go through in life, whatever situation you're in right now, you have to fear no evil because God is with you. He's telling us, for you in Psalm it says, "For you are with me." That means that he knows that God is with us. Isaiah 41:10 says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God." Stop panicking. He's telling you he's here with us. John, it says, I will not leave you orphan. I will come to you. He's pretty much letting you know he's not abandoning you. Growing up, not having a father present, I always felt such of in a way of as an orphan. I don't have a dad. I don't have someone, to completely go to as well. I did have a mom, a single mother, but in a life of a child, it's important to have both parents, not just one. It's a father and a mother, and not having a father does and can create, you know, things in your life, instability, and that is how I felt, and I felt an orphan child in a way. But growing up now, I know God, Jesus is with us. So if you have any story to share what Jesus has come through for you, please share it right here in the comments. Maybe somebody needs to see it. I would love to know. I would love to see how Jesus showed up for you. It gives me hope that there's still God. It gives me hope that God is listening, that, my prayers are not just being thrown in the air or to nothing, that there is someone, an entity or spirit or soul, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, an energy to me as God that is listening to my prayers, and my prayers are conversation. Today, from the moment I woke up to the moment I was taking a shower to the moment I was getting dressed to every single point in my life, I kept saying, God, okay, I need you to take the wheel. I need you to drive for me. I need you to do this for me. I'm going to do it physically, but I need you to clear the road and I need you to help me be here in the moment. So if you believe in God, please let me know. Tell me a beautiful experience or whatever you're going through, right? You might be going through a tough season right now. Share it. Please let me know. Let me help you in any way that I can. I don't want, people I know that we all tend to feel alone. I know that. It's a human in us to feel alone. And like the priest said on the last service, acknowledge that feeling, acknowledge that human feeling, that human experience that you're having here in this world to feel alone. Because when you're with God, you're never gonna have that experience. So it's pretty much like I feel like we come here to live the drama of the life of the world, and we go back to a totally amazing world, and we again choose to want to come back because we want to have a different type of experience. Um so to me, being here, that's what it is. It's an experience. So if you feel alone, know that it's just an experience. That's it. Acknowledge it. Know that you're having a human experience, like I said, but know as well that that's not true, that you feeling alone is not true because God is with you. It's, when my faith is a little bit rocky, I love to hear other people's stories, how God came through for them, how God helped them out, you know, how their life or their walk with Christ is different than my walk with Christ, and how they found God. It's a tricky situation. We all have a different experience. So if you have one, please share it with me. I would love to know. Every day carries says, God came to me in a way I would never expect it. Can you give me one example? I would love to know. I would love people to be able to share something. That would be amazing. So please share a moment where God came to you in a way that you would have never had expected. Okay, so let's try to find another verse. Um, a lot of people think that when you seek Jesus, when you have Jesus in your life and you accept him, that your life is always going to be perfect. You're never going to have you know, turmoils. You're never gonna have bad days. It's always gonna be perfect. You're gonna be a millionaire, or you're gonna be healthy for the rest of your life. And that's not what God tells us, right? In John 16:33 says, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. You know, life will be hard, that's guaranteed, but you're not fighting this alone. That is extremely important that we know that. Um, hi, hi, Brooke. I think that's what it is. Brookside, how are you? I hope you guys are doing good today. Please do not forget to share what y'all tuning in from. I would love to hear what y'all are tuning in from. And this right here, Jesus tells us. So if you've been looking at videos lately, because there's a lot of videos where it shows that someone only just has amazing life after they accepted Jesus, and they're just their life is so cool, and it's just this idea the life is just perfect when you accept Jesus, and you feel like, okay, wait, maybe I'm not believing it hard enough because my life is harder, because I'm struggling. And that's not the case. A true faith, you're gonna go through ups and down, and ups and downs. Um, it's even Jesus tells us in John 16:33 again, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. He's letting us know, guarantee you're going to have trouble, you're going to have hard moments, but I am with you. You're not fighting this alone. And I know that as a human being, we want to know, how is he fighting it, right? We're trying to break things down in our brain. We want to see it. We want that physical sense, and he knows that we want that, but that's not the way God works. Another one says, Matthew 16:24 says, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up the cross and follow me. Following Jesus isn't comfortable. It will cost you something. I like to say that a lot of people have lost friendship, that's costing you friendship. A lot of people have lost, marriage, a marriage, or someone in their life that they truly care about, because they have chosen to follow Jesus, to truly know the word of him, and and believe him and be there with him. um People will laugh at you. People, we seen, something is going on in the world. I believe, now I'm not sure where, not sure if it's Nigeria. Sorry, I'm not sure where Christians are being prosecuted. And that right there, their cost is their life. They're losing their life to follow Jesus, and that is extremely hard. And Jesus says it all the time. He has not says it all the time, but he had mentioned that it will be really hard to follow him. I believe when he was talking to his disciples, and Second Timothy 3:12 says, everyone who wants to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. If you're doing something right, pushbacks will come. That's going to happen. You've seen it on people that are growing their page. You've seen it on people that are trying to be successful, but trying to put God always first. That there's a lot of pushbacks. I like to say the enemy is trying to hold them back, but God is way stronger. God can conquer everything. They can, there could be light in the darkness, but there can never be darkness in light. That just right there says of how Jesus, since he's the light, he takes care of us, and every issue that we get to have, he is there. And I know it's hard to feel him. Trust me, I go through that. But I know that no matter what conversations I'm saying or what conversations I'm having with him, I know deep inside he's listening. The human in me wants proof, right? I usually would be like, okay, give me a knock in the wall or make a noise that I know you're listening, and I don't get anything. And then I'm just like, okay, maybe he just doesn't care, but I know deep inside he does. Not because he didn't do something I wanted him to do, it means he didn't love me or he's not there with me. It just means that he's doing things in his own time. A lot of us think that when God goes silent, it's because he has abandoned us. And I get that. I feel the same way. But I know that him giving us life, I know that there's other things that I could learn to start being grateful for that he's giving me that can help me to start seeing the light again at the end of that tunnel. And James 1 2 to 3 says, consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know what the testing of your faith produces. Sorry, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Trials aren't punishments, they are trainings. They are what we need to grow. They are what we need to learn from lessons. And I know sometimes people will say, well, what's my lesson? Um, it's a conversation that you always got to have with God. I wish I can tell you this is what you got to do, right? This is a process and you're going to hear from Him, or this is what you exactly have to say so you can find that answer. Um, but that's not how it works. The relationship that you have with him is different than mine. I'm still trying to find him. I'm still trying to seek him. I'm still trying to find answers. And to be honest, I don't ever want to stop, because the day that if I stop finding answers or seeking him, it just means that I will handle everything on my own. And it's pretty clear that if I got to the point where I am trying to seek my faith back to God, is pretty clear that I have not done a very good job. So I need to trust in Him. I need Him to do everything for me, to tell me what I need to do, right? I wish Jesus can do things for me physically, but He does things for me in a different way where I have to show up. So if anyone has a story out there that you can share, the way God has showed up for you, please share it with me. If you're going through something, please put it in your comment. Let's talk about it. I don't want you to feel that you're not being listened to. I know we have hard moments, and this is why I'm here, showing up as much as I can for anyone here that is in this life. So please let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know what you want to talk about. God is great, and it's hard to see him, but he's truly, truly amazing. And First Peter 4:12 says, "Do not be surprised at the fiery ordeal that has come onto you to test you, as though something strange were happening to you." Um, you know, this is just part of the process of what you're going through. I know there's a time of your life that you can say that you went through something hard and it made you become a better person, and it made you to realize things about you that you did not know, that whenever you encounter a similar situation again or a tougher situation, you were prepared, you were equipped with God's word or whatever you went through. um so like I said, it's easy to feel that we are alone. It's definitely easy. And if you do feel alone, I want you to know that that's a human in you having that experience. But God truly is never going to leave you alone. Sorry, you guys. Let me let my dog out because he is just scratching the door. Um, go, go on. Okay, never mind. You don't want to go? You want to go? No? Okay. So things like that. And there's one thing that I started doing a lot more. It's trying to not understand, but read more of the Bible. Do I do it consistently? No, I don't. To be honest, it's very hard for me um, to keep it consistent, just for the fact that I get so many questions in my mind when I'm reading. But I thought it was pretty amazing. I never really cared for the Old Testament, but lately something has been calling for me to read the Old Testament. I know it's a lot harder, so if anyone has read the Old Testament, please let me know. What did you do to be able to understand it a lot more? Because I know it has some very, very hard stories in there. But I want everyone to know that Jesus does care. He really, really cares. And I wish at this point in my life I can tell you an experience, but if there's anyone out there that can share a moment where God showed up to them, please share it. Share it right here, because someone else can read it and it can help them out. If you're going through something and you want to talk about it, please put it right here in the comments, share it with me, and let's just talk about it as well. Um, yeah, let me see if I can find a verse about not what do you guys want to find a verse about? Does anyone has a favorite verse of the Bible that you can share and we can discuss it? Um, let's see. Mm, mm, I know someone told me, how does God get to see our pain or what we're going through? And I think there is one verse that I truly, truly loved, and it's Psalm 34:18. It says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." You know, if these are the moments that I always say when you're in the best time of your life, you tend to, and this is a normal side, right? We all do this. When we are at our best, when we're getting the money that we want, when we're successful, when we're getting everything we want, we tend to forget God. And we'll just say thank you once a week and then move on and then just keep thinking that we are doing whatever we're succeeding on. But we forget that it was God who's doing it. It's God who's doing it. So then something would happen in our life where we're gonna be reminded again that he it's the one that we need, that we stop looking for him and we stop being grateful with him, and then he will remind us again. And that's why it says that the Lord is closest to the brokenhearted during the time that if you're going through a very challenging moment right now, a very hard moment, hard season, whether that's that the loss of a job or trouble in a relationship or trouble at work or you can't find a job, know that those are the moments mainly that God is with us. And it's not that he finds it joyful that you're suffering, but he's finding joyful the fact that you are looking for him and that you're trying to have a close relationship with him. That's when he finds joy because he knows that in your hardest moments, you always putting him first. So I think for me, I always tell God, whenever are the best time of my life, please help me to not forget about you. Please help me to stick with you and be thankful. Because there's a lot of, you know, I want to say people that I have read about and I've seen in other, podcasts where they're saying that they are so successful, they felt so successful, and they know so many friends that are successful that will tell you that God did not do anything for them, that they had to do it themselves. And that's what we forget, that God opened doors for us, opened doors for them to be successful, but they are millionaires now that they have chosen to look away and feel that they're the one that have done it themselves. Psalm 56:8, it says, you keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. Nothing that you cried over is wasted or forgotten. God does not forget any of it. Isaiah 53:3 says he was despised and rejected by mankind, a man suffering and familiar with pain. Um, you know, he knows it personally. Nothing really surprises him. This man was crucified, y'all. He was crucified and he knows every pain, every hate that people felt for him. He knows it all. And I believe Isaiah, it's in the New Testament or in the Old Testament. Let me see. Isaiah, if somebody, it's in here and they can respond that for me. Is it Old or New Testament? Because there's something crazy about this. So you see, Isaiah is in the Old Testament. And you know what's crazy to me about it is that people always say, well, how do you know Jesus was real? In the Old Testament, there's a lot of prophecies about Jesus Christ, and this is one of them. In Isaiah 53:3 says, he was despised and rejected by mankind. What happened before Jesus died? He was being rejected and despised by mankind, a man of suffering. He suffered in the cross and is familiar with pain. So when I hear people saying Jesus, it's not our Jesus, that he was a prophet or just a messenger, something of that nature. It I truly do not, I reject to believe that, because in the Old Testament it literally talks about how Jesus, how the New Testament, how he was going to suffer. It describes him by the T, everything he went through. 2 King 25 says, I've heard your prayers and seen your tears. I will heal you. Whenever I'm going, my days are tougher than others, and my days are very hard. This is a verse I always like to think of. I have heard your prayers and I've seen your tears. I will heal you. I feel that every time, by the time I'm done talking to God and putting my requests and putting my pain the foot of the cross, uh, you know, I feel that God is telling me those words. I have heard your prayers and seen your tears. I will heal you. So if you're going through something, just think of that. Close your eyes and say that verse again and again, and know that God put these words in the Bible because they were for us. They were for us to carry down through our whole lifetime, through generations. And these words don't change. It's his words. It's what he wants you to feel. It's what he wants you to know about him. First Peter 5:7 says, cast all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. This is extremely hard to do. I get it. We're human. God knows this. That's a beautiful thing about him, is that he understands that, we go through struggles. He understands that we can't just be like, anxiety, go away, and that's it. He knows that, and despite all of our ugliness, all of our, you know, our or everything that he tells us not to do, we do it. He still sees us as child, and he still loves us. He still cares for us. Um, so just, if you have an experience, please, please share here with us in this live, a moment that God showed up for you, how he showed up for you, or if you're going through something, please share it with me, share it in this live. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. I'm going to be here on this live just for a little bit more, and then I will be done. But yes, please share first. Where are y'all tuning in from? I would love to know where you're tuning in from. Um, so what else? Let's see. Another verse. Does anyone have a good verse that y'all want to go through? You okay? You okay? Sorry, you guys. I have a little doggy here that he wants to go outside, but he wants me to go with him. And I'm not going because I'm doing a live. Yeah, you want to come here? You want to come here? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Jump. I, I, I. This is. Sorry, guys. This is my doggy. His name, it's Bear. Say hi. Say hi. No, not me. I'm here. I'm here. Look. Look right there. Look. Right here. Hi. Hi. Yes. Does anyone have a Yorkie? Does anyone own a dog? If you do, please let me know what kind of dog you own. This is a Yorkie. God, Lord. A Yorkie Maltese, and he eats everything, paper and everything. Oh, paper and everything. So, like I was saying, if y'all have a story that y'all would love to share, if you're going through something and you feel that Jesus doesn't care, let me know. Have you asked yourself that question before? Have you asked yourself, does Jesus really care? Please share with me anything. I guess it's just a word of encouragement, right? Like, I want to know how Jesus has showed up to you, what he's done for you. Because a lot of us, we tend to lose faith, or we're having a moment where just there might be a little bit of cloudiness going on, and we need someone else's experience show us to show us that he's still there, that he is real. So how does Jesus show up for you? Let me know, please. I would love to know. Let's see if we can find another verse. Today it's funny because I was looking at some Instagram reels, and someone says um, that God has given us, all of us, talents. And this is where for me it's always a little tricky. Like, what do you mean talents? How do I know what my talent is? Why is it so easier for other people to find the talents and I can't find mine? And they'll say, "Oh, well, just ask God." Okay, well, I'm asking God and I get nothing. So if you know anything, let me know. Matthew 11:28, it says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." When you're exhausted, Jesus doesn't say, "Figure it out." He says, "Come to me." That is the most beautiful thing. So we tend sometime to go to somebody else, to other people, to go and tell them our problems. And I always wondered, what if we just take it to him, right? What if we just, instead of calling your best friend and tell him the issue that you're having, what about just asking God, telling God, the issue or the problem that you're going through? Um, Go to him first. And then once you go to him first, then I guess go and, seek the best friend that you're looking for a good advice. But I think we always should always take our challenges, our excitements, our everything first to God. And Luke 24:15 says, "As they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them. When they were confused and disappointed, he showed up anyways." This is he's talking about his disciples. You always wonder that Jesus truly cares for what, you're going through. If it's a hard moment and you're crying, is he crying with you? And I have a verse for you that truly shocked me, which it makes me to see more Jesus as a human. When he was here, and in John 11:33-35 says, Jesus wept. He pretty much, this is right here telling you, he showed up before the miracle and he felt their pain. Jesus feels the pain that you're going through. So know that you're not alone. Take your problems to him. He's weeping with you, he's crying with you. He's not just looking down on you and saying every negative thing that you should have done, or, you know, judging you in any way. He's telling you, take your problems to him because he's weeping with you. And Isaiah 43:2 says, "When you pass through the water, I will be with you." He doesn't prevent any storm. He steps into the storm with you. When you came to this life to have a life experience, and this is just me saying on what I think about life, because there's many definitions out there, right? There's a definition that you came with a plan, but then where it's, your will. If you came with a plan, then you don't have free will, because that means that you came with a plan already. Or was your plan, your free will was when, before you came to this world, that you wanted all these things, and that's what your free will